You know what's so frustrating to me as a leader of a community of amazing creatives who are blessed by God and gifted to impact the world? Having an insufficient and ineffective online presence. Because they don't have time or they don't feel qualified to fix them, they end up missing out on audience, they miss out on community, and they miss out on impact. So I'm going to tell you the 3 major mistakes that most faith-focused creatives keep on making in their online brands in this episode of the God and Geek Show. Hello and welcome to our show. Thank you so much for making this podcast a part of your creative day. My name is Alan C. Paul. I'm the host and founder of God and Gigs, and I hope you'll stay connected to this channel and to this podcast because we're here to help you to transform your creative life from the inside out. Now, as I was talking about in the open, this frustration of seeing amazing creatives who have all the talent in the world, they're brilliant offline, they've got amazing music, or they got amazing visuals, or they're amazing designers. But yet when you get to their website, it doesn't match their offline brilliance. And not just their website, because a lot of us sometimes we feel we don't need websites. So we make sure that our social media is kind of like our online home. But either way, that particular place that they kind of set up shop online just doesn't fit what they're trying to present. There's something missing, and I know even when I go there as a podcaster, maybe they've been on my show, and I go on and I try to promote them, but there's things missing from their very profile that I can't promote because it's not there, or there's something missing, or maybe it just doesn't look the part. And I can tell you, honestly, if that's you, and you are so tired of trying to get your online presence right, but knowing that you don't really have the time or the bandwidth to focus on it, or there's just questions in your mind of what to do because there's a million different platforms, or you're not a web designer and you just feel like, okay, it's a non-starter. I'm just going to leave it alone because I'm sick and tired of it. And everyone keeps giving me all this advice and I don't know what to do. Well, I'm going to help you by just pointing out 3 pretty specific mistakes that you're making so that you can fix them one time and then you can be done with it. Now, of course, once you fix these mistakes, you have to continue to work on your online home, just like you work on your physical home. You do some renovations, but eventually you want to also spruce it up some more. But there's some basic things you got to do first before people even get to your house and when you first move in. That's what we're talking about. The low-hanging fruit, as it were, the things that you can fix right away that can help you to improve your online presence, which will bring more people to your site, more people to find you, give you more influence, more impact, and hopefully soon, more income. The first mistake that most creatives make is not having a clear identity. Now, I am a multi-hyphenate creative like most of you. I'm a musician, I'm a podcaster, I'm an author. But before I can get to all those other things I do, when someone comes to my online home, whether it be on a social media site or on my website, they have to figure out that 1 or 2 basic things about me that I actually want them to know. It's the party greeting, right? Hello, my name is blank and I do blank. It's the same thing online. People are doing a digital handshake with you. And if they come to your online home and they can't figure out who you are in the first few seconds of seeing your brand, your online home, your website, your social media profile, well, that's like walking through the party and kind of looking at people and mumbling some things about, oh, I do this and I do this and I do this. And they're like, huh? Because they really don't know who you are because they haven't got a chance to know you. Now, once you're clear about that first thing, then you can draw them into the conversation and they can learn more about you. But most creatives who get into this space of, well, I don't have time to work on a website and I don't feel like doing all this stuff with social media because I'm not a social media person, what ends up happening is they feel frustrated because they can't seem to communicate to people what they are able to do because they haven't made that first introduction. They haven't made that first comment on a website, which equates to that first comment at a party or at a networking event. And so if you are that person who just feels like you cannot decide on an identity, Something that makes it clear on your social media sites or on your website who you are or what you are. You might want to do this little exercise. Ask somebody else, what's the first thing you think of when you see me? What's the first thing you think of when you see my art? Find out from other people what they think of you. And then when you put that on your website, you will find most people will then say, oh, and what else do you do? They will engage because at least they've got that first question out of the way. But if your branding and your identity and your social media profile doesn't provide that, there's nowhere to go. And it's a non-starter online, especially when there's so many things competing for everyone's attention. So that's the first mistake, not a clear identity in your online presence. The second one is almost as obvious, but it's one I see over and over, is incomplete profiles. Now, just like you want to see right away what someone's about, what kind of music they create, or what they do in terms of coaching, or what you do in terms of creativity, and get that clear indication from the first few seconds, a bio, especially on social media, is also something that immediately tells them where to go, a call to action. Click here on Instagram, or click here on LinkedIn, or here's my company, and this is where you go to find things, and so on. That incomplete profile I see over and over. It'll be an Instagram without a bio, or it'll be a place where I don't know exactly what somebody does because they haven't put a byline, or it'll be on Amazon where someone has not listed their books. These are things where the platforms are literally built. I can't say that word literally, literally built in order for you to have these things so people can find them. But people that are busy, creatives, we don't know to fill in all the gaps. We don't know what goes here, what goes there. And we leave these profiles incomplete. And people that go to your online home, again, imagine your physical home and imagine somebody coming up and not being able to find the address on the side of your door. Well, they're going to get lost because there's a specific thing that's right there for people to find something, to be able to locate you, and they can't find it. This is the URL when it's a super long URL underneath your bio and they can't click it because it doesn't fit. Or even worse, it's not clickable because it's not a social profile that allows that. I see this over and over. Simple things like an incomplete profile can stop you from living out that creative dream and that creative career where people are connecting with you, because a little thing like that limits them because they can't connect all the dots of what you do. The third mistake that I see so many of us faith-focused creatives making is a lack of brand cohesion. Now, when I say cohesion, of course, I'm talking about how things fit together, the colors, the typography, whatever it is that you have. And again, we're not talking about just websites, because I know websites requires a lot of work, and then even social media platforms and profiles and thumbnails sometimes take a lot of work to put that together. But you can tell the difference when someone has a cohesive brand and colors and things are matching, and when they don't. And this does not mean you have to become a graphic designer. There are several cool tools that are online that can help you create templates or use templates that can quickly get you a cohesive brand, a cohesive color palette, and some things that work together so that you can quickly fix that kind of haphazard looking bio, that haphazard looking profile that doesn't really fit your brand. Now, a lot of this that I'm talking about, I can hear the brand strategist right now. You can't do this in just a couple of minutes. You need time. You need to think this out. That is true. However, the problem is that many of us creatives overthink this. We think we have to have a big brand design company to do this, when simple little changes will make the biggest difference. Because if you just apply yourself for a few minutes, a few hours, a day or two, and fix these problems, you can continue to renovate, as we said, on your home. Your online home will continue to be renovated. But fixing these first three problems, making sure that you have a specific identity that you are sharing when you go online in your online home, to make sure that your profile on any of these platforms is complete, especially on these sites that allow you to put all of your links, that allow you to put things in certain place, who you are, your byline, your announcement. All of that is left out of the picture if you don't sit down and just make sure that it's done. And finally, Your lack of brand cohesion, of pictures, of typography, of all of that fitting together and looking right is the thing that is stopping you from impacting the world the way that God wants you to do it. You are called to be an excellent creative, not just in what you make, but in how you present yourself. So I hope that these 3 little things have helped you to make sure that they never happen again. You now have some tools and some understanding of what to fix, how to get your brand identity together, how to make sure that you complete your profiles, and also making sure you have a cohesive brand and finding the easy ways to fix this, whether it be in Canva or templates or wherever else you go, to have a cohesive brand look. And I would love for you to connect with God and Gigs because we have many, many people inside our community that are willing to help you to do just that, to show up with impact, to show up with excellence so that you can increase your impact, increase your influence, and increase your income. God bless you. And until next time, continue to become the creative that you were created to be.